Watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I want to discuss Eli Roth's fucking perfect 2013 cannibal movie, and that is The Green Inferno. Now, aside from this movie being completely terrifying, because the tribe that ends up capturing them once their plane goes down, you can't reason with these people. You're out of your depth. There's no way that, like, say you're really charming and charismatic or whatever, they don't care. They're going to torture you, subject you to like a bunch of fire ants, do some genital mutilation on you if you're a chick, and then they're going to eat you. And there's just no reaching these people. And I find that once they're collected by the tribe, this movie, this is like the textbook definition of terrifying, because we are all so completely out of our element there. And I mean, I love how this movie feels like a genuine labor of love from Eli Roth, because I really like Eli Roth, but I love how he was in Inglourious Basterds, even though I didn't love Inglourious Basterds. And I like him as a director. Like, I thought the first Hostel was really good, and even the second one wasn't terrible, but I really liked the first one. And so, but with the rest of his filmography, I kind of find it's like hit or miss. But this, for me, is sort of like his most perfect film, because it just feels so honest. Like, you know that he loved all of the movies that took place during the cannibal boom, the late 70s through the mid 80s. And you can totally tell, obviously, from the title of this movie, that he is in love with Cannibal Holocaust. Because Cannibal Holocaust, aside from being one of the fucking movies that I absolutely hate, it's really clever because there's a movie in that movie, and the movie in the movie is a movie called The Green Inferno. So I thought that was really clever, that he took the title from the film within a film. But I always thought that Cannibal Holocaust was just Deodato's way of finding an excuse to toss rape and legitimate animal and tons of animal killing into a movie under the guise of making it like hardcore and like, whoa, look out, you know, I'm an edgy filmmaker. I'm out there on the outskirts. You want to play it safe. You know, you go back to the mainstream. My movies, there's rape, and it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, what the fuck was that? The cannibal tribe at the end that rapes the chick as they're beheading her at the end of Cannibal Holocaust. I'm like, this is just so gratuitous. Like, this is just so gratuitously grotesque. And it's like, it's just so unnecessary. And it's like, we don't always have to shoehorn rape into everything in order to make a movie seem more hardcore. So, oh yeah, I knew it. That light was gonna die. There we go. So it's like, I don't know, that was my concern with going into The Green Inferno, because I know Aftershocks got a little rapey and Roth was all over that movie. So I know he will occasionally sort of venture into the area of rape, and I don't love that. So going into The Green Inferno, that was my main concern. And thankfully there's absolutely nothing in the ways of sex assaults in this, or at least none that are on screen, because when the castration scene takes place, when they find out that Justine is a virgin, I mean, there's some sort of sexual trauma that goes on behind closed doors. But thankfully us, the audience, aren't subjected to it, so that doesn't interfere with my ability to enjoy this movie. I love how they eat the fat guy first. I mean, and of course, the fat guy had to be the nicest guy in the movie. And it's like, I knew the second I saw him, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna eat him first. And that's why Roth made this guy like the most likable character in a movie, period. He was like so sweet, so considerate, so caring. And holy fuck, they pluck his eyes out one at a time. The chick cuts his tongue out and eats it. And then they go to work on his limbs. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this movie is perfect. That's what I'm looking for. When I was lucky enough to see this in theaters with my girlfriend at the time. And it's like, I remember a bunch of people walked out. And I didn't walk out. I'm not saying that I didn't walk out because, oh, yo, I'm so fucking hardcore. Because I was just sitting in a chair watching a movie. I'm not hardcore. But a bunch of people left. And I get it, because the violence in this movie is unflinching and the camera doesn't budge. Like, when they break the guy's legs and then leave him for the fire ants on the pole. I mean, his limbs, sorry. They break all of his limbs and toss him on that pole and leave him for the fire ants. And I love, too, how at the start of the movie they're talking about female castration being a problem in certain parts of the world. And then just as Justine and her awesome blonde friend, who was like the coolest character in the movie, as they're leaving, just as like this scene cuts to them after class, the professor says, now on to the fire ants. And it just, like I said, it cuts on to the next scene. And of course, we find out what the fire ants do later in the movie, and Jesus Christ, you do not want to experience those. But then again, to be fair, you don't want to experience anything that people go through in this. I mean, this movie was just vile. And what's his name? Alejandro. I mean, her blonde friend whose name I can't remember, I think it was Amy. She was right. She was like, he seems kind of like a psycho. And he was. Like when he's masturbating to relieve the stress in the cage that they're in. I'm like, buddy, you're a fucking psycho. And so I did love too how Justine gets away, and it's like just by the grace of God that she's able to pull this off. And then she's captured by, I can't remember who it was, the rebels or whatever, and then she pretends to be filming them all, and so of course they fly her to safety. And then she says, oh, the tribe was really nice, they were really helpful and everything. And then she finds out that Alejandro's still alive because there's like footage or a picture of him with the black like tribal paint on his face. And so he's still out there and he knows everything that happened. Now, I know there was a planned sequel supposed to be directed by somebody else, and that never happened. I'm glad, because I like how this is like a one-off and how it is a tribute to cannibal movies of the past. And I do feel that this is like a really superior cannibal film because it's done without sex assaults. Because it seems like every cannibal movie I found that came from the late 70s, the mid to late 70s through the early 80s, is all filled with rape. And I just don't like rape in movies. So that was amazing. And I mean, they fly in here to like save the trees and to save the tribe. And it's like, you know, you're like rich kids from, you know, a university somewhere in the States. You guys, you shouldn't be doing this stuff, you know? And it's like her friend said at the start, activism's gay. So you really shouldn't be doing, my God, I can't believe I just said that. Think about everybody I know that's gay. But no, it is true. I get where she's coming from. You should never use the word gay to imply something stupid. The only time you should use the word gay is if you're speaking about how you feel happy, or if you're discussing somebody you know whose sexual orientation has them being attracted to members of their own sex. So activism, this kind of activism is so reckless because clearly these kids were underprepared, and Alejandro was a psychopath. He didn't care. It was all about him. You see him on the fucking boat, and he's like Christopher Columbus on the front of the thing, like got his knee up and he's standing in that like captain pose because it's all about him and him gratifying his own ego and satisfying his need for control and social dominance, right? But yeah, this movie's cool. Some of the dialogue is a little dated, like her friend saying activism's gay. But it's still funny because it throws back to a time when those sort of things weren't fucking, oh my God, everyone didn't blow up on TikTok and act like it was the end of the world. And just like, oh my God, the other movie, Eli Roth, oh my God, the other movie he's involved with, or he directed, I can't remember, Cabin Fever. When the guy's like, they were like, why do you want to shoot squirrels? And he's like, because they're gay. And it's like, wow, we all used to talk that way too. I'm glad those days are over. But in a sense, I don't like now how you have to be afraid if you say something's gay in a bad way and everyone's going, oh my God, you know, everyone's going to come for you online. I think that's a little much. But at the same time, I do completely like the idea that that language has sort of dropped off. But nonetheless, this movie's amazing. And holy fuck, it's 8.5 minutes. So I am going to stop talking. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for 8.5 minutes while I discussed Eli Roth's absolutely perfect 2013 cannibal film that is The Green Inferno. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. I mean, I don't even know why I bother saying this stuff. Nobody's making it till the end. But nonetheless, don't forget that the world is a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. This one was way too long. Sorry.